Did you know that within the first 7 seconds of meeting someone, people decide if they like you or not? That's how fast first impressions happen. But here's the shocking part. 90% of communication is nonverbal, meaning your body language, tone, and facial expressions speak louder than words. In this video, we'll explore strategies that'll help you become a more confident and engaging communicator. Whether you're talking to a friend, a coworker, or a stranger, you'll learn how to build strong connections, handle tough conversations, and even inspire others with your words. Ready to transform your communication skills? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Unlocking the power of first impressions. When it comes to communication, first impressions can be everything. In fact, research shows that people form an opinion about you in the first 7 seconds of meeting you. So, how can you make those seconds count? It's simple. Make eye contact, stand tall, and smile. These small actions can trigger a sense of trust and likability. Studies show that people are more likely to engage with someone who seems confident, approachable, and genuine. Your body language speaks louder than words. In one study by UCLA, nonverbal cues accounted for 55% of how people judge you. The way you carry yourself matters. A strong posture, open gestures, and steady eye contact can convey leadership and credibility before you even say a word. Think of a time when you've met someone who stood tall and gave a firm handshake. How did that make you feel? Confident, right? That's the effect you can have on others. But don't just focus on how you appear to others. How you feel about yourself plays a role too. Studies suggest that adopting power poses for just 2 minutes before a conversation can make you feel more confident. Power poses, like standing tall with your hands on your hips, have been shown to boost feelings of strength and control. So, next time you walk into a meeting or social event, take a moment to stand tall, breathe deeply, and feel empowered. Remember, people notice how you make them feel. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, in his book Emotional Intelligence, highlights the power of emotional contagion. The energy you bring to a conversation is contagious, so always aim to bring positive energy to every interaction. Your body language, tone, and demeanor will set the stage for how the conversation unfolds. Chapter 2. The magic of listening. The silent leadership superpower. Good leadership isn't just about talking, it's about listening. In fact, studies suggest that leaders who are effective listeners are more likely to gain trust and loyalty from their teams. Research by the Harvard Business Review reveals that employees feel more engaged and valued when they're listened to. Listening carefully can make you appear more persuasive and empathetic. But listening isn't as simple as it sounds. It requires full attention. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person is checking their phone or looking around the room? It's hard to feel heard when someone isn't fully present. The key to active listening is to eliminate distractions and focus entirely on the person speaking. According to the International Listening Association, the average person spends about 45% of their day listening. Yet, studies show we only remember about 25% of what we hear. So how can you improve your listening skills? Start by making sure you are fully engaged. Nod to show you're paying attention and ask questions that show you care about the topic. When someone feels heard, they're more likely to open up, share insights, and collaborate. This is especially important in leadership. As a leader, when you listen, you not only gain information but also build rapport with your team. And here's a surprising fact: active listening can make you appear more powerful. People tend to see listeners as more intelligent and capable. Listening well shows respect, and in turn, people respect you more. Author Stephen Covey, in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, calls this principle: seek first to understand, then to be understood. When you listen first, you not only gather more information, but you also position yourself as a leader who values others' thoughts and perspectives. Chapter 3. The art of empathy in dialogue. Empathy is the secret weapon of great communicators. But it's more than just being nice. True empathy in conversation involves understanding others' feelings, showing compassion, and responding in ways that make people feel heard. Research shows that leaders who practice empathy are more likely to have engaged, satisfied teams. In fact, According to a study from the Center for Creative Leadership, 95% of leaders believe empathy is important, yet only 50% feel they're skilled at it. Empathy begins with perspective taking. This means putting yourself in the other person's shoes and seeing the world from their viewpoint. It's easy to make assumptions, but great communicators hold off on judgment and give others the space to explain their thoughts and feelings. When you practice empathy, people feel understood. This can make them more willing to collaborate, open up, and trust you. Take a moment to reflect on a time when someone truly listened to you. Didn't it feel good to know they cared about how you felt? That's the power of empathy in action. Leaders, especially, benefit from empathy. According to the Empathy Factor by Marie R. Miyashiro, empathetic leaders are more likely to inspire their teams and foster a positive work environment. They create an atmosphere where people feel safe to voice their concerns, share their ideas, and work together toward a common goal. Empathy also builds stronger relationships. When you show genuine concern for someone's feelings, it makes them more likely to connect with you on a deeper level. This is especially important in leadership, where trust is a key element. Empathy is the glue that holds relationships together, whether in personal conversations or professional settings. By showing empathy, you signal to others that you value them as individuals. As Dr. Brené Brown, a research professor and author of Daring Greatly, says, empathy is not connecting to an experience, it's connecting to the emotions that underpin an experience. It's that emotional connection that can make all the difference in how others perceive you and your leadership abilities. Chapter 4. Mastering the pause. How to speak with impact. We often rush through conversations, trying to fill every second with words. But here's a secret. Pauses can actually make you more impactful. In fact, studies show that people tend to remember things said slowly and thoughtfully more than rushed statements. By pausing before you speak, you give your words more weight and authority. The power of pauses goes beyond just letting things sink in. In interviews or presentations, taking a moment to pause after a question allows you to gather your thoughts and respond with clarity. Psychologist Albert Mehrabian found that 38% of our communication comes from tone of voice. The strategic use of pauses can make your tone sound more confident and composed. It shows you're in control, which can be especially important in leadership situations. Here's an interesting fact. When you pause, you also encourage your listener to engage. Studies show that when we hear silence, our brain works harder to process the information and prepare a response. So, when you pause during a conversation, you're not only showing confidence but also giving the other person space to think, which makes them feel more involved. Public speaking expert Nancy Duarte suggests that great speakers understand the importance of pacing, where silence plays a key role. A well-timed pause can create suspense, emphasize a point, or allow for reflection. In leadership, using pauses wisely can help you inspire action. As author Simon Sinek explains in Start With Why, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Pauses allow you to communicate your why more effectively. In meetings or team discussions, pausing can also signal that you are considering all viewpoints before responding. This shows respect and a willingness to listen, which is critical for effective leadership. So, next time you're in a conversation, try incorporating pauses to enhance your message and build stronger connections. Chapter 5. Navigating difficult conversations with grace. At some point, every leader has to face difficult conversations, whether it's delivering bad news or addressing a conflict. How you handle these moments can make or break your relationships. Research by the Center for Creative Leadership shows that leaders who handle difficult conversations with tact build more trust within their teams. A key strategy for navigating tough conversations is to stay calm. In emotionally charged situations, our natural instinct is to react quickly. However, reacting impulsively can escalate conflicts. Instead, pause, take a deep breath, and think before responding. According to Crucial Conversations by Carrie Patterson, the best way to avoid conflict is to keep your emotions in check and engage in dialogue with a calm mind. Another technique for handling difficult conversations is to use I statements instead of you statements. This subtle shift helps avoid sounding accusatory. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," Try saying, "I feel unheard" when my ideas aren't acknowledged. This approach reduces defensiveness and opens the door to understanding. Empathy plays a huge role in difficult conversations. When you acknowledge the other person's feelings, it diffuses tension. A study by Dr. John Gottman, a leading expert on relationships, found that when people feel heard and validated, they are more likely to reach a resolution. As a leader, showing empathy not only calms the situation but also helps maintain a positive relationship, even in difficult moments. Lastly, it's important to stay solution-oriented. Difficult conversations should not be about winning or losing, they should be about finding common ground. Leaders who focus on solutions rather than dwelling on the problem are more likely to resolve conflicts effectively. By focusing on actionable steps, you turn a potentially uncomfortable conversation into an opportunity for growth and improvement. Chapter 6. Storytelling. The leadership skill that inspires action. Storytelling isn't just for writers or speakers. It's a powerful tool for leaders too. In fact, research shows that people are 22 times more likely to remember a story than a fact or statistic. This makes storytelling one of the most influential ways to communicate, motivate, and inspire. As a leader, stories allow you to connect with your team on a human level. They help convey values, vision, and purpose in a way that data alone cannot. Stories engage emotions, and emotions drive action. As leadership expert Jim Kozes says in the Leadership Challenge, leaders who are able to tell stories of hope and inspiration can transform their organizations. The most powerful stories are those that involve struggle and triumph. People want to hear about overcoming challenges because it inspires them. Think about how many times you've heard a story about someone persevering through tough times, and it left you feeling motivated. This is the power of storytelling. Storytelling is also a great way to reinforce your leadership message. When you share stories that align with your vision or values, you make those concepts more memorable and relatable. Leaders like Steve Jobs used storytelling in his speeches to convey Apple's values and vision. Jobs would often use personal stories to highlight the company's mission and create a connection with his audience. But storytelling isn't just about making a speech, it's about integrating stories into everyday conversations. Whether you're in a meeting, giving feedback, or offering guidance, framing your message as a story can make it more compelling. A leader who can weave a relevant story into a conversation has the power to inspire, teach, and persuade with ease. The key to effective storytelling is authenticity. People can tell when a story feels genuine and when it doesn't. Share stories that resonate with you personally, and people will connect with your message on a deeper level. As author Maya Angelou once said, "People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel." Storytelling has the power to create that emotional connection.